Do your ambient loops sound lifeless and boring? Let's try to change that today. If something is good, you want more of it, but not necessarily in the exact same order. Let's think about why walks in the forest feel so good. Trees, good. Vegetation and foliage, great. Gravel paths, amazing. Government drones known as birds, kinda good. Local fauna, great. But a forest would have one tree followed by a bush, followed by a deer, followed by exactly one government drone sound, and then the sequence repeats itself over and over again. It would completely suck. That's why we should be more playful with the sequencing of our loops. Let's take this loop as an example. All the individual elements of the loop are okay. You've got the pad, the guitar, and then you've got some field recordings. But the way they're sequenced in makes it stale and lifeless. Now, if you've ever listened to anything by URKOS or Ulla, you will know that the tracks they make never feel dull, in spite of being mostly loops. The sounds appear and disappear, the loops fade abruptly, and the rhythms are not exactly where you expect them to be. And that's why it has so much replay value. Now let's go back to our original sample and try to make it more interesting. First off, we need some background samples. Quick YouTube sample hunt, grab a video with lots of random sounds and just use the arrows and record everything in Audacity. Let's stretch it, cut it into small bits and arrange them rhythmically. Now load up Frequency Shifter, add some feedback and record the sounds while changing the frequency. Let's listen to what it sounds like with our loop. Now let's get rid of the guitar and set it aside for some time since it has too much of a rhythm to it. Divide the car sounds into small sections and fade them in and out to get a sense of movement. Now let's pitch it down, adjust the volume and carve out some unnecessary parts. Now let's divide the original field recording from our loop and have it come in and out to complement the car sounds. Let's add a delay to it. Now it's time for the guitar. Stretch it and divide it into sections. I'm going to add spectral sand with the frequency set pretty high, some offset and the mix at around 30%. Now make a send, add a wet-only reverb, a chorus, a delay, and the pitch shifter set an octave up. Let's just mute the send for now, we'll come back to it later. Now what we want to do is to place the individual guitar notes strategically in our loop. Now it's starting to sound decent. Let's go back to our sound. We want to automate the volume fader so that the wall of sound comes and goes at certain points. Now let's add some flair to the pad. Load up a frequency shifter, set the mix to around 45% and gently automate the frequency knob. We're going for that seasick flutter sound. The only thing missing now is some voice recordings. We're doing some advanced YouTube sampling again.
Paintings to say, like, when you're making with like completely for a lot of like
and it's granulizing time. Go random all the way to the right. Now let's add spectral gate. You want these to be barely audible, just popping in and out. Now the final part is the tape simulation shenanigans. I'm using to tape 7 by Air Windows. It's free, sounds amazing. You want to automate the flutter speed and the bias knob to give it that warbly burnt tape sound. Now let's compare the original loop to what we just did. And there we have it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.